Page 126. Eyes of the ball holder. It is inside the eye that the retina receiving light twice, that one by one characteristic habits of a dog can be traced to their anatomy. The retina, a sheet of cells on the back of the eyeball, translates light energy into electrical signals to our brains, which leads to our feeling that we've seen something. Much of what we see is given meaning only by our brains. Of course, the retina just registers the light, but without the retina, we would experience only darkness. Even slight changes in the conformation of the retina can radically change vision. There are two slight changes in the canine retinae, in the distribution of photoreceptor cells and in the speed with which they operate. The former leads to their ability to chase prey, retrieve a tennis ball, to their indifference to most colors, and to their inability to see something right in front of their noses. The latter leads to their being uninterested in daytime soap operas left on for them when their owners are out of the house. We'll look at this in turn. These. Go get the ball. Some of the most important things for humans to see are any other humans situated within a few feet of their face. Our eyes face forward and our retinae have foveae, central areas with an extra abundance of photoreceptors. Having so many cells in the center of the retina means that we are very good at seeing things right in front of us in high detail, great focus, and strong color. Perfect for identifying that blob of color and form coming at you as your boyfriend or your mortal enemy. Only primates have foveae. Foveae. By contrast, dogs have what is called an area centralis, a broad central region with fewer receptors than a foveae, but more than in peripheral parts of the eye. Things directly in front of a dog's face are visible to him, but they are not quite as sharply in focus as they would be for us. The lens of the eye, which adjusts its curvature to focus light onto the retina, doesn't accommodate to nearby sources of light. In fact, dogs might overlook small things right in front of their nose within 10 to 15 inches because they have fewer retinal cells committed to receiving light from that part of the visual world. You need no longer puzzle at your dog's inability to find the toy that he is nearly stepping on. He's not got the vision to take note of it until he takes a step back. Breeds of dogs differ so much in their retinae that they see the world differently. The area centralis is most pronounced in those breeds with short noses. Pugs, for instance, have very strong areas centralis, almost foveae-like, but they lack a visual streak, which dogs with long noses and wolves have. In Afghan and retrievers, for instance, the area centralis is less pronounced, and the photoreceptors of the retina are more dense along a horizontal band spanning the middle of the eye. The shorter the nose, the less visual streak. The longer the nose, the more visual streak. Dogs with visual streaks have better panoramic, high-quality vision, and much more peripheral vision than humans. Dogs with the pronounced area centralis have better focus in front of their faces. In a small but significant way, this difference explains some breed-based behavioral tendencies. Pugs are not typically so-called ball dogs, but long-nosed Labrador retrievers are. Not because of their long noses per se. In addition to their ability to put their millions of olfactory cells to good use, Labradors are visually equipped to notice, say, a tennis ball traveling across the horizon without having to shift their gaze. For a short-nosed dog, as for all humans of any nose length, a ball tossed to the side just disappears into the periphery if they don't follow it with their head. Instead, pugs are probably better at bringing close objects into focus, say the faces of their owners on whose laps they sit. Some researchers speculate that this relatively blinkered vision makes them more attentive to our expressions and seem more companionable. Excuse me. Go get the green ball. Dogs are not colorblind, as is popularly believed, but color plays a much less important role for them than it does for humans, and their retinae are wide. Humans have 3 kinds of cones, the photoreceptors responsible for our perception of details and of colors. Each fires to red, blue, or green wavelengths. Dogs only have 2. One is sensitive to blue and the other to greenish yellow, and they have fewer of even those 2 than humans do. So dogs experience a color most strongly when it is in the range of blue or green. But a well-scrubbed backyard pool must seem radiant to a dog. As a result of this difference in cone cells, any light that looks to us like yellow, red, or orange simply doesn't look the same way to a dog. Consequently, they seem perfectly oblivious when you ask them to bring back grapefruit from the store and grow irritated when they bring back tangerines. Still, orange, red, and yellow objects might still look different to them. The colors have different brightnesses. Red may be seen by them as a faint green, yellow a stronger one. If they seem to be able to discriminate red and yellow, they are noticing a difference in the amount of light these colors reflect toward them. To imagine what this might be like, consider the time of day when your color system breaks down. In the dusk right before night, if you're outside in a park, in your yard, or anywhere nature lives, take a look around you. You might notice the wash of exuberant green leaves above you, subtly dulling to a more unassuming hue. You can still see the ground underfoot, but details and distinctness of blades of grass, the layers of petals, are reduced. Depth of field squashes somewhat. I tend to stumble more than usual on protuberant gray rocks that blend with the earth. The reason for this loss of visual information is anatomical. Cones, clustered toward the center of the retina, are not sensitive to low light, so they don't fire as often at dusk or night. As a result, our brains get signals from fewer cells detecting color, and the near world flattens out a little. We can still see that there is color, and we still detect lights and darks, but the richness of colors has fallen away. Colors are grainier, less detailed, so it might be for a dog, even at noontime. As they do not experience a great range of distinct colors, dogs rarely show color preferences. Your clashing choice of red leash and blue collar affects your dog not at all, but a deeply saturated color may get more attention from a dog, as will any object placed in a background of contrasting colors. It may be meaningful that your dog attacks and pops all the blue or red balloons left over after the birthday party winds down. They are most distinct among a sea of pastels. Thank you for listening. We're on page 129.